You're listening to a DM podcast.
We would like to acknowledge and give thanks to the traditional owners of the land we record this podcast on, the Yagara and Turrbal people,
and their continued connection to the land and waterways on which we meet.
Hello and welcome to Sportish, where sport and pop culture collide at the moment. And
they sure do.
We'll get back to you about what else that could possibly be. Maybe the culture of sport. I'm not sure if that's broad enough though.
Well, that's something. It's not nothing.
It's not nothing because it is a lot about the culture of sport. It speaks more broadly than just like the footy scores from the weekend, which...
Yeah, the stats and the details and the techniques, we're not interested in that.
I mean, you know we're light on that stuff, guys. This week, I think we need to kick off with the huge announcement that happened that Emma McKeon, our greatest ever Olympian, and I say that with all respect to you, Libby Trickett.
No, she's legit.
You're legit.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you, but like legitimately on stats, she is 100 billion% the GOAT of Australian swimming.
She really is. And she announced this week that she's retiring from competitive swimming after the most stellar of swimming careers and an incredible contribution to swimming in Australia. And I was lucky actually enough that I got to interview Emma this week.
I was so jealous of this, Georgie.
I was like, are you sure you've got the right Trickett?
Are you sure you're looking for me?
Like, because I can't tumble turn.
No, it has been well documented. You cannot tumble turn, but you are an excellent interviewer. And like from everything that you've told me, it just was amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. And as part of that, I actually reached out to some little mates of mine who I know are mad keen swimmers and mad keen Emma McKeon fans.
I mean, who isn't?
I mean, get in the line, really. There's so many of them. But what I really wanted to do is highlight the perspective that kids have around athletes and what an amazing and beautiful impact athletes can have on kids. And Libby, I see this when we interview people who are a little bit younger than us and might have grown up watching you, and they can come from all different sports, and it really doesn't matter what they were doing, but they recognize you as an idol from their childhood. And it's like one of the first things they say when we start talking to people is, I used to watch you. I got up in the middle of the night and watched you. And it really hits me how much you guys, you role models, you athletes have on kids. Anyway, I'm going to read you a couple of them because they were just the cutest thing. And I think it really sums up how Australia is feeling at the moment. So this is from Sophie, who's 13 years old, and she's from Northern New South Wales, Cabarita Beach. Hi, Emma. My name is Sophie. I'm 13 years old and I absolutely love watching you race. You inspire me to be dedicated to the sports I love and motivate me to keep going. You are such an amazing racer in the pool, and I'm sure you are out of the pool as well. One thing I love about you and try to do myself is how you manage to stay calm before a race. You are such a nice, kind, humble person, and I hope to be half as good as you are one day. From Sophie.
Oh, that's so beautiful, Sophie.
I'm just going to read you one more because this is just priceless.
Please.
Emma's my favourite athlete because she doesn't try to be cool by wearing weird-looking togs or weird haircuts or makeup.
Very specific. Yeah.
Like 12-year-olds, they just call it.
They call it out.
Yeah, she's like, this is not my jam. She's not into that. She's cool because she's the best at what she does. She is quiet like me, but always has time to say hello and talk to me. And then when she dives into the pool in any event and any stroke, she just gets the job done and wins everything. She is the best.
She is. She is literally the best. Just everything about that is just so quintessentially Emma McKeon. Like, she's so humble. She's so kind. Like, she's so down to earth, and all of those things are true. But then she gets behind the blocks and she just, she does the talking with her swimming, right? And it's so funny because even in my household, when my kids pretend to be Olympic swimmers, they play Emma McKeon and Molly O'Callaghan. I'm like, what am I, chopped liver? No one wants to be mum.
I think that's the definition of being irrelevant nowadays, Libby.
It's so hurtful, but, it's okay because, Emma McKeon. I'll accept being replaced by Emma McKeon.
It's a sword you're willing to fall on for one of the greatest.
The greatest, absolutely, hands down.
Hey, Lib, all this retiring of athletes, and that inevitably happens after every sort of Olympic campaign, it's also triggered in my mind this awareness that once you finish an Olympics, what happens next? Like, you're an athlete and you finish an Olympics, and then what? Do you just dive back into the pool? Because I can only imagine that actually going back into training is like the last thing you want to do after such an intensive situation like an Olympics, like a Commonwealth Games. And I remember that you and I spoke about the idea that you might not have retired the first time if it had been the case that you were actually able to step away from the sport for a little bit of time and chill out. And I have loved seeing all these athletes, Aussie athletes, on their Instagram doing everything but the sports they just went and represented for. Like, you see Jess Fox, she's on Channel 9 doing heaps of stuff. She's winning awards. She's hanging out with her sister. She's traveling. She's seeing the world. I've seen Emma McKeon doing that. Ariane Titmus is like having the greatest time that involves nothing to do with swimming whatsoever. Is this something we see across all sports? Because is this us stopping the burnout from happening?
I think it's been a really nice progression that we've seen across the board in all sports, and particularly led by women. We've seen like Naomi Osaka stepping away from the sport, Simone Biles, the greatest of all time Olympic gymnast, stepping away during the Olympics, really trying to take care of their mental health, making sure that they have the capacity to promote that longevity in their sport. And it's not just, kind of this just burning flame and then it just completely peters out to nothing. And, I remember when I was swimming, Liesl Jones actually took a year out of the sport. We've seen Kate Campbell take a year out of the sport, Bronte Campbell as well. And it's funny because after 2009, I should say, when I decided to retire, it just wasn't done. And I had that real all or nothing mentality. And, needless to say, I came back after a year and I was like, oh, this retirement shtick is not for me right now.
Quite
no,
boring.
thank you. Yeah, I don't know what to do with my life.
A lot less medals involved in
yes, so much less clapping. Exactly.
No one cheered.
No one cheers me anymore. But no, it's been so good to see that progression because I think that is a really great option for so many athletes to prevent that burnout that does happen, because being an Olympic or a Paralympic athlete is hugely time consuming. It's super intensive. It bleeds across every part of your life. You're making these decisions around whether you go to events or, sacrificing going to, I didn't even get to go to your wedding. Like, these are the kind of sacrifices that I had to make, which, that still hurts me that I didn't get to go to your wedding because I was on a training camp. Yeah, obviously it would have hurt you. Well, I hope it does. I hope it really hurts you.
No, it's really weird when I think back to our wedding and like Luke was a best man, and it's so odd to me that you're just nowhere in that situation.
I know. I was devastated that I couldn't come. I specifically asked the Australian team coach that year and he just blanket said, no, you can't go.
He's not forgiven. I don't forgive him.
Oh, no, I don't forgive him either. No, it's fine. We were allowed to not forgive him. But they're the kind of sacrifices that you make, missing out on loved ones' big events because of this commitment and desire to achieve something in your sport. And yeah, I'm really loving seeing that. So I hope that someone particularly like an Ariane Titmus might continue in the sport because she's taking this time now to rejuvenate, recover, find that fire, find that desire of what she wants to achieve next. Shayna Jack is another great example. But I think this is something that we're really starting to see more of, and particularly in sports where you see the age really young, something like gymnastics or swimming, things like that. It's nice to see that we're getting older and older athletes who are having more longevity in the sport.
It was really interesting this week also to see Mary Fowler has stepped back from Matilda's duties for a little bit of time. She's not going to participate in any of the upcoming friendlies because she's decided to prioritise her mental and physical health and wants to recuperate. And again, it just shows this level of maturity and willingness to prioritise physical wellness, mental wellness over everything else. Whereas I think historically the sports have always been the priority and you do it at all costs. And sometimes that was a really huge price to pay.
But that's also what you were told, right? Like you have to sacrifice everything. Otherwise you won't have the ability to come back. Like you won't be able to do it. And because you think that you only have such a finite amount of time, everything has to go towards it at all time, that breakneck speed. And it's just so nice that we're seeing not only these people, these incredible people, these incredible athletes step away, but come back as good, if not better than ever.
It's amazing. And that's setting a really positive example to us mere mortals that work and whatever it is that's consuming your everything, it doesn't have to be the only thing, and you can step away and life does continue. And yes, it might be in a different form, but if these elite athletes can step away and make some changes and then come back and have the confidence to do that, so can the everyday person.
Georgie, we have another sports documentary for our Sporties, which I'm pretty sure we've already mentioned, but like I want to go deep on Sprint.
I think we've vaguely mentioned it, but there's also been a new season that's come out post-Olympic that we haven't dug into yet.
Yeah, so good.
I have feelings, but I think yours are just like
no, tell me your feelings. You tell me your feelings first.
Okay, so I need to declare that once again, like I did with Simone Biles.
Oh, no. Oh, sorry. You skipped to the end, didn't you? I was going to assume that you didn't like Noah Lyles.
No. I hadn't watched all of season 1 and I didn't bother to finish all of season 1 because I just wanted to get to the part that was just before Paris and Paris. Like the rest of it, I was like, whatever, I'll come back to that at some point if I really need to. But I think having experienced the Simone Biles documentary so close to Paris that incorporated all of Paris, I was like, oh, give me more. This is brilliant. And I loved how they did the episodes by countries to start with. So I think the first episode is all the Jamaican team.
The first one is America and then the second one is Jamaica, yeah.
And it's even fascinating just looking at the training facilities.
The differences, right?
Like those Jamaicans are training on almost bare earth. Like those tartan tracks.
They are well worn.
They are well worn. They are well used tracks. I mean, it doesn't seem to affect them at all. It's obviously about the talent that exists there. But just watching that whole setup and how it works and then seeing the trials and what that looks like and then the contrast of that with the US, I thought was so clever. Like just to see the disparity that exists between the two nations, and yet when you get to an Olympic Games, that actually has very little impact.
Yeah, Jamaica has just dominated over decades. You know, the Americans were really trying to win the gold in the 100 and 200 for both men and women for the first time in decades. For me, obviously I loved that. I loved seeing basically the comparisons between the two nations. But I think for me, what I just could not wrap my head around and what I just was so blown away by was the access that Netflix has to these athletes during the Olympics. Like,
oh, that's so interesting. Okay.
I was blown away. Like the fact that they had cameras on their coaches at the training track while they were competing. They were in the marshalling room, you know, behind the scenes. They obviously have all of the amazing footage from the actual events as well, but this isn't spoiling it for anyone, but Julian Alfred from St. Lucia won the women's 100 flat, and they were following her directly after the event as she was sobbing with the realization of what she had achieved. Like they were there. I'm getting goosebumps and like just thinking about it. I have never seen anything like it. And I mean, I know I've mentioned this probably a few times with around the access point, but like what we are seeing is unbelievable footage of these athletes in that moment. And I cannot get enough.
Well, no, and I think that's why the timing of it so close to when it's just been on is so important as well, because it's so fresh. I've still got that feeling a bit of what it was like to watch the Olympics and watch those moments and then to see it all happen. It's so brilliant. What I could not get over is this idea that this is the greatest sporting event that the world puts on every 4 years. But actually, like when it comes to things like marshalling, it's just like any other athletics meet.
No, but that's what we Olympians always say, Georgie. But it is. It's like the exact same thing. And, that's what I always tell my kids when they're, competing at, a school carnival or, the club champs, which they just did on the weekend. You're always going to be nervous, whether you're at the club champs or whether you're at the Olympics. But it's just about having fun in it. But it's all the same. Like it's literally all the same thing. Like if you're a swimmer, you've got 8 lanes in a pool. It's 50 meters. Like everyone has the same lanes. It's the same thing from when you're swimming at Brisbane Metros to the Olympic Games. It's amazing.
It really, really is. Like it normalized it so much for me. I was also fascinated by the idea that the coaches are not in the stadium for the race.
That was so weird. I thought the same thing. Like, why are they not watching?
That was so weird to me. And
then they seem to run in afterwards to be able to give them a hug and stuff. But
this is a big deal. You don't want to be out there trackside? No, okay. It was just such a oddity to me. I love the American women's running coach, whose name I don't remember specifically, but I loved what he's saying to the girls every race, every time they go out to race. It was all like you can do this, do the best, do your best. Like it was really simple. And again, it was like something a coach would say at a track meet for like school kids, high school kids.
But this is what was amazing though as well, seeing that access of so the coach that you're talking about coaches Sha'Carri Richardson, who got second in the 100, and TT Thomas, who didn't place, but then Jefferson, who got third in the 100. And one of my all-time favorite quotes from him was, he said to Sha'Carri Richardson before the 2023 World Champs, he's like, don't answer me, show me. And he's just said, who's the fastest? And then she goes and wins the World Championships. This is the best. Anyway, but what I found so fascinating was seeing the difference between what he said before the race of the 100 and what Julian Alfred's Coach Flo, I think his name was, said before her race. And I was like, because then you get to compare coaches, and I'm like, actually, I think Coach Flo nailed it in that moment, because Sha'Carri Richardson's coach was more pumping them up, believe you got this, we've done this, yeah, let's do it. Whereas Coach Flo, Julian Alfred's coach, was calm your heart rate down, keep breathing.
Yes.
Don't let the moment overwhelm you. And I'm like, that's exactly what you need in that moment, because the moment is so massive. You don't need to be pumped up. You're already pinging with adrenaline. You need to calm your body and let it do what you've trained it to do. And I was like, yeah. If I had have seen that before the race, I would have said Julian Alfred's going to win.
Again, this is box to box production. So this is the same guys who do F1 Drive to Survive, that do full
They're
speed.
So good.
They
Obsessed.
just know how to create this story arc and actually get you into the points that you didn't know you didn't know.
Yeah.
You look at a 100 meters race and you're like, how complicated could it be?
It's 10 seconds.
How technical is this? Actually, there's a lot going on. And obviously there is, but just the story and the color that they put around those athletes was just incredible. I mean, we haven't even spoken about the men's, but to me,
I know.
The men's was sort of almost like a side story as compared to what I saw with the women's, because I was so fascinated with the dropping out of the Jamaicans, the different tension.
Yeah, Sharika Jackson and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price. You're like, where did they go? What's happening?
Fascinating. Such a good watch. You don't have to have seen the first part of season 1 or the first part of it. You can just go straight to the second segment and watch those 4 episodes. They are just brilliant.
So good. Highly recommend.
Hey, Lib, I was thrilled to bits to go sit on a webinar last week with Dr. Zali Yeager from the Embrace Kids.
Is a legend.
She's a legend. And they are doing amazing work around body image, particularly body image in sport. And you voiced and did this whole beautiful thing around a masterclass that was all like a resource for clubs and associations to look at about how to address this issue of body image in sport. And then Zali and I last week sat on this webinar and we talked through our experiences with body image in sport. And I learned so much from Zali. I think, Libby, we need to have her on the podcast so we can talk to her more.
Please, can we? She's just so, it's cliche to say she's just so smart. She is. She's just so smart, but she communicates in a way that is so informative and like just lands and you like, oh yeah, I get it.
And it's very non-judgmental. She's also really quick to point out that things are going to be said in front of kids that aren't great and like not to overreact and how to handle it, like so practical and so realistic that we're all going to put a foot wrong in this space and we can all learn to do better. As part of that, we get to give away a couple of these amazing boxes. It's like a starter kit for clubs and associations. So we hosted a little competition and I'm very excited to say that Everton Park Junior Rugby, who call themselves the friendliest rugby club in Brisbane.
Love that.
I love that. They are going to be sent a box. Thank you for telling us all about yourselves and why you'd like a box. And also we're going to be sending a box to the Coogin Netball Club down in northern New South Wales, who most of their players are under 14 years of age. They have had to deal with this issue as a club in the last couple of years. They reached out and said, actually, we would love one of these boxes. We don't know where to start. So they're going to be in the mail to these great clubs.
Well done, everybody. And thank you for jumping on board because like this is the stuff that means so much to you and I, George. And like this is the stuff that's going to actively make an impact on kids' experiences of playing sport, you know, not just now, but in the long run. And I just like, I'm so thrilled that they jumped on board and they get to receive a wonderful box from Embrace. Georgie, do we have a midweek Hall of Fame this week?
Oh my goodness, we do. And it's a real ride. It's heartbreak and it's fabulousness. So
they are our favourite kind.
I know. But I feel for this little person. So I got this message sent to us today and it said, I absolutely have this week's midweek Hall of Fame for you. It's a little story about a 13 or 14-year-old girl who's been doing a whole lot of the swimming meets that happen around this time of year. And I think in these swimming meets, and Libby, you know this space, I don't, you can do a whole lot of different meets and at any one of them you could qualify for nationals. You don't necessarily have to go through like a state championship as such.
Yeah, it's just a qualifying time. And if you make the qualifying time at any of the kind of registered events, you get to go to nationals.
I didn't know that. Very different to other sports.
Is it?
Like in a team-based sport, for example, you go to a carnival, you compete.
Oh, yeah, weird.
Yeah, it's a really different... Yeah. So anyway, it's just different sports do different things.
That's real weird.
So this little swimmer, her name is Chloe, 13 or 14 years old. She raced a PB on Saturday and her qualifying time was 1 minute 23. Now, 1 minute 23 gets you to the nationals and her coach was elated, met her on pool deck, told her that she qualified for nationals, all of that sort of thing. However, he hadn't looked at the microseconds.
Oh, no.
So while she had done 1 minute 23, she was 0.25 off the actual qualifying. She went over by 0.25 from the actual qualifying time.
Which is nothing.
Which is nothing. Oh my God, that's so ridiculous. But that's the rules. So her coach meets her and celebrates with her and tells her that she's in nationals and then realizes that actually she hasn't qualified for nationals.
No.
And the parent who messaged me said, what was brilliant was watching my child receive that amazing news and watching her celebrate with her coach and then watching her absorb the disappointing news that actually that was all wrong and she wasn't going. And so that demonstrated to that parent just how resilient Chloe was in that moment. And then Chloe went and had to race another race, a 50 metres breaststroke. and again did another PB in that race. And the thing that both her coach and her mum said was that not only did she take some bad news and process it in a really mature, resilient way, she then composed herself and went out and smashed out another PB.
What a legend.
All in the very short space of time. And that to us is absolutely a midweek Hall of Fame, Chloe.
Hands down.
For you to have gone through that roller coaster of highs and lows and still delivered in your sport, that is an incredible feat. And it's something that lots of adults couldn't do in that moment. And you've just, I know it must be very hard to think about it in this way at this moment, but the life lesson you've just had and the skills you've demonstrated in this moment are so much more than your swimming and will take you so much further in your swimming.
Yeah, exactly right. And for me, hearing something like that, and, you know, whether Chloe wants to go on and swim for Australia or she just loves swimming with her friends, it doesn't really matter. But you can see that someone with that kind of maturity, that kind of emotional flexibility and adaptability to be able to navigate something like that at such a young age, like she's going to be able to do whatever the hell she wants in her life, because that is an incredible tool that will just stand her in just the most brilliant stead for the rest of her life.
Well done, Chloe.
I reckon Nationals is just around the corner if she's doing stuff like that.
Yes, absolutely. In your favourite stroke, Libby, breaststroke.
my all-time favourite. I know, I was like, 1:23 sounds really fast. No, thank you.
Well done, Chloe. You're absolutely our midweek Hall of Famer. And thank you, as always, to the parents and to our listeners who write in, tell us these great stories. They're the stories we want to share and uplift because they're as much a part of sport as what you see on the weekend on the TV.
Up there with, you know, Emma McKeon becoming the greatest of all time to me. I think that's just as astounding what Chloe did. Like, she's incredible. I'm really proud of her.
That's it for this week's episode of Sportish. Thank you as always for listening. Go watch some great documentaries. Go and watch.
Go forth and watch.
Go forth and be part of sport in this great sporting nation. We've armed you with lots of chatting points.
The exciting thing for me, Georgie, is I'm literally, because I'm traveling at the moment and I am sans kids, I'm literally going to get into bed with my sleeping gown, my little dressing gown that I've got on that I've recorded this entire podcast in, and I'm going to go watch me some sports documentary.
It's the greatest delight of your life when you came on camera.
And room service, I have to say. Oh. And room service.
Oh, a bit of room service and a bit of TV in a king-size bed. Is there anything better?
I don't think there is much better.
Is this not peak midlife?
It's heaven. I'm almost 40 and this is the joy that I get now.
It's the small things now. Thank you, Lib, for joining us in your bathrobe.
You're welcome.
It's a real flex.
I know, it was ridiculous. I was just uncomfortable and I was like, I can't record it nude, so therefore.
Correct. I mean, that was a great choice.
I will put a gown on. Yes, you're welcome.
All right, sporties, we'll see you in a week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.